I don't know that it's different than what is traditional in football. I think maybe it's traditional in Spain, maybe perhaps, but it's not like we invented a new approach. I talked about this a little bit in the first press conference I did announcing Dick. Lots of teams play this way. He's not the first one, and so it's just different emphasis on different things. It's an emphasis more on recovering the ball as soon as you lose it, whereas I think in Spain people want to possess the ball as long as possible, but they don't think about what happens when they don't have the ball. Maybe it's not as important, so you see a little bit less. You see more of a patient approach here, I think, and more of a technical game, which is at times quite beautiful in Spain. But this style is maybe a little more brutal and a little bit more physically demanding. So I think also for me it just makes more sense. I mean, it's difficult to get promoted, it's difficult to win games, and if every team is playing a very patient style, a lot of times luck becomes a factor. And I think with this style, there's still luck is still a factor, obviously, but over time, you're getting more chances to score. You're dominating possession in the box, touches in the box. These sorts of things lead to winning, and so these are the things I think that are maybe different a little bit. I think a big part of it also is we're not afraid to fail, not afraid to look stupid, not afraid to give up odd man breaks and transitions. We've weighed the pros and cons of being really, really aggressive offensively means you're going to be sometimes compromised defensively, and you have to be willing to live with that and accept that. And I think the structure of the organization here allows for that, whereas maybe it doesn't allow for that in other teams because you have too many people that aren't bought into that, whereas here everyone is bought into the same philosophy. They're comfortable with, you might give up 2 breakaways and lose the game 2-0. It might happen, or 3-2, like in the Cordoba game, when we were up 2-1. So this is kind of our philosophy. We like it, we live with it, and we accept what happens, regardless of the outcome. Yeah, I think it's different. I mean, but I think it's ideal. I mean, I think obviously you have a lot of owners of football clubs who aren't very involved. They don't have a lot of experience in sport, and so they hire people to do the job for them, and that makes sense. But for me, I've been involved in predicting outcomes in sports my whole life. So, or my adult life. So that's the only career I've had is making models and betting on sporting events. So, for me, it just makes sense. I'm the one who's here the longest. I will have the club for, we'll have a manager who will come and go. We'll have a sporting director who will come and go. We'll have all these people who will come and go. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm owning the team, I'm the one who's invested in the team. I have the team's best interest in mind. So I don't see why I would ever hire someone else to make these decisions for me. He's going to be worried about keeping his job, and I'm worried about the success of the club. So as long as you're qualified to do this and you're able to do this, and you can hire other people who can help you make these decisions, to make the final decisions, it just makes sense. I don't know. People say it's different, but to me it seems the other way is crazy to me. Like the way, especially the way sporting directors are fired all the time, managers are fired all the time, it doesn't really make sense to put a lot of trust in these people. So yeah, this is the way it'll always be as long as I own the club. I mean, I think it's nice here. I think also I like the financial fair play aspect of it, although maybe it's not so fair when you get to the La Liga with Real Madrid being able to spend, have so much more revenue. Maybe that part's not fair in some ways. From a sporting perspective, it's fair from a business perspective because they're just a terrific business, but it's not fair for the sport. That's a big part of it. I think it's nice here. I like the people here. It's really pleasant to be here. When I do spend time here, I enjoy it. I think also this approach works here probably better than it would work elsewhere because nobody else is really doing it to this extent. And so you have an advantage when you're the one team out of 20 in your group that's playing this way. Although Cordoba played quite similar to us, to be fair. They had a similar approach. So it's not like we're the only team. Cordoba also had a lot of success playing this way. Maybe not as risk-taking in the back, but definitely offensive-minded, definitely pressing. I think they might have even had a lower PPDA than we did. So that was the reason why we chose Spain. I think it's also just the sport here has a long history, so if you can do something special here, you've really accomplished something. So that was a part of it. So just a bunch of different things. I like being on the coast. The coast is nice. People here are nice. Mm-hmm. No, I like the promotion and relegation. I think it's more beautiful. I think it rewards merit. There's in the NBA, if you look at the teams that are the worst teams in the league have the most benefit. They're rewarded with high draft picks. And you look at the best players in the game, LeBron, etc. They were number 1 picks drafted by and large by the worst teams in the league. So you can fail not only is failure rewarded, but it's often it's often desired. A lot of teams will lose on purpose so that they can get better positioning for the future years. I think that just kind of defeats the purpose of sport and competition. So here it's more, the tension is higher, it's more exciting, it's more beautiful, it's more pure. I like it a lot more. This is the main reason why I think I decided to focus on football, because I do love the ability to have to participate in the league with promotion and relegation. It's just more exciting. Do I expect it? No, I don't know. I mean, that's the hope for sure, is to try to get to the first division and compete. You know, everyone always says, like, because I was quoted to compete with Real. I mean, of course, if we get in the first division, competing with the best teams, we will be able to compete in the sense that we'll be playing the same game, but we'll probably have like a $50 million squad cost limit versus a team that has a $750 million squad cost limit. This is absurd in some ways. So I think, what do I expect? I expect that we will continue doing the things we're doing, trying to make the best decisions possible, trying to find ways to generate revenue that are outside of the business side of the club, because the business here is capped. There's only so many people that live here. There's only so much wealth in the area. So for us, we will have to focus on other things like player trading and have to generate revenue and to compete. And that's kind of what we're focused on, and that's the expectation. If we do that, then our goal is to have some good seasons, I suppose. But for now, we're just focused on La Liga 2. We're not really focused on La Liga. We're just focused on doing the best we can in La Liga 2 and consolidating and getting out of that league as soon as possible.